Taylor Swift, the woman needs no introduction, but just in case you've missed the memo, she's one of the biggest pop stars of all time, with a career spanning nearly 20 years, having sold over 13 million albums worldwide. She's also Time Magazine's Person of the Year 2023, and her Eras concert tour is expected to be the highest grossing tour of all time. Her lyrics are also so entrancing that a university has dedicated an entire literature course dedicated to analysing them. It's safe to say her success is unmatched to any living pop star. Now, I'm not necessarily a Swiftie, but I can't lie, she has written some tunes. You will catch me singing along to some of her songs. But this week I've really been struggling to sleep, so what have I been doing? I have been delving deep into Taylor Swift lore. And let me tell you, this shit runs deep. From theories ranging as innocent as the fact she may have been faking her country twang, y'all.
My name's Taylor Swift. I have a single coming out in 10 days.
To fan theories of Easter eggs in her songs, to even darker conspiracy theories about her relationships and friendships. There's just so much information to take in about the whole Taylor Swift universe, and it would be so easy for me to get carried away and start putting together my own Taylor Swift conspiracy iceberg. But one of my New Year's resolutions was to post more frequently on the channel, which means I need to stop posting videos that are like an hour long every single time. It's just so hard, I get so carried away. So for today's video I decided to really pinpoint the topic, and yes, we are of course back with my conspiracy series. It's going to be a fun one today. We're going to be taking a deep look into whether or not Taylor Swift is an evil cult leader. If you've been a fan of conspiracy theories for a long time, I'm not telling you anything new by saying that there is a conspiracy theory out there that Taylor Swift is the clone of the ex-high priestess of the Church of Satan. Zena Shrek, born Zena LaVey, was the daughter of Anthony LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. The story of Zena is an interesting one in itself. Honestly, she seems like a badass woman in her own right, and I might have to do a separate video all about her. Let me know if you'd like to see that. But Zena rose to fame in the early 70s because Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, despised the media storm following the so-called satanic panic. And he hated constantly being hounded by the paparazzi, so he left his followers, mainly Zena, to pick up the pieces and promote the Church of Satan in the media. Zena grew increasingly tired of constantly having to defend the church publicly whilst being disrespected behind the scenes. And on top of that, she began to question and ultimately reject the self-centered philosophies that they were promoting as part of the Church of Satan. So in 1990, she made the decision to ultimately leave the Church of Satan. She changed her name from LaVey to Shrek, taking her husband's name. Imagine your upbringing being so toxic you'd rather be going around calling yourself Mrs. Shrek than having your dad's surname. Okay, I know, like, Shrek came out after the whole satanic panic, but just allow it for the joke. Now, where does Taylor Swift come into the mix? So the story goes that the church was becoming increasingly more suspicious that one day Zena might leave them, so just in case, in 1989, the year Taylor Swift was born, they had a clone made of her so that someone could carry on the legacy of the Church of Satan and spread their message across the globe. And that clone was successful and has grown up to be the household name that we all know as Taylor Swift, who just might be successfully spreading the satanic message all across the globe, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. So this theory really stemmed because people have noticed a lot of similarities between Zena and Taylor. And you know, here on the channel, we don't just like to be conspiracy theorists, we like to be conspiracy analysts. So is there any truth in this theory? So the first similarity that people notice is that Zena and Taylor are both musicians. So I've never really seen anyone unpick whether or not Zena sounds like Taylor. I mean, ultimately, if Taylor is the clone of Zena, shouldn't they sound the same? I mean, there is the whole argument of nature versus nurture. Zena grew up in San Francisco and Taylor grew up in Pennsylvania, but ultimately, shouldn't they have the same voice at least? So I actually went and I found some of Zena's music. And I do have to say this, so obviously music is subjective, people have different tastes, and in my opinion, Taylor might just be a little bit more talented than Zena. But I listened to some of her songs and I was thinking, do they have the same voice? I'll leave the full song in the description below because I don't want to get copyright strike. And don't get me wrong, obviously, even being as tone deaf as I am, I can hear that that is like nowhere near like a Taylor Swift song or whatsoever. But I don't know, I can almost hear Taylor Swift singing exactly like that if she wanted to. Am I going crazy? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'm definitely gonna get hate for this. And another reason people think that Taylor is this clone of Xena is the obvious one. There has been physical similarities compared over and over again. And I can't lie, some of the pictures compared to when they were the same age, like they look actually identical. But I don't know, I personally don't believe this theory that Taylor is the clone of Xena. Despite the obvious, there's no evidence that human cloning is even possible. And also, I think it's just some of the pictures and still shots where they look similar. If you look at the full video, in my opinion, they don't look that alike. And on top of that, I want to take this one step further and say, okay, well, people know Taylor Swift's parents, and how would that be possible if she was a clone? Her parents, Scott and Andrea, are quite in the media themselves, and I'm not gonna lie, Taylor looks, in my opinion, the spitting image of her mom. So to me, it seems more likely that she is related to her birth parents, rather than being the clone of the ex-high priestess of Satan. But you know, never say never. I mean, if the church did clone Xena, they did a very good job. There's very few people across the globe right now who have never heard of Taylor Swift. But you know what they say? Not one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I'll just count the hours. Yeah, okay, don't hate me, that is a Kanye West reference, but that brings us nicely onto part 2. Some people think the next part is to do with the Church of Satan. Some people think that this is a theory in its own right. But ultimately, like most celebrities out there, people have come to the conclusion that Taylor Swift might be part of the Illuminati. And they believe that her acceptance speech at the infamous 2009 VMAs was her induction into the Illuminati. So in case you missed this absolute pop culture moment, Taylor Swift was accepting a music award for the best female music video for You Belong With Me, I believe it was. And Beyonce was up in the same category when Kanye, he burst on stage to interrupt the acceptance speech and give his 2 cents. You know the one, Taylor Swift, I'm really happy for you, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best music videos of all time. Kanye. People believe that to be initiated into the Illuminati, one of the first steps is to show your dedication and to go through a humiliation ritual. And this speech made headlines all around the globe, and people are obviously devastated on behalf of Taylor, and she was reported to be crying backstage.
And I was really excited because I had just won the award, and then I was really excited because Kanye West was on the stage. And then I wasn't so excited anymore.
Are there any hard feelings towards him?
I don't know him, and I've never met him, so.
So were you a fan before?
Yeah. It's Kanye West.
Are you still a fan? I take it now.
You know, I don't know him, and I don't want to start anything because I had a great night tonight.
Then Beyonce very kindly let her come back on stage to finish her acceptance speech, the one that was interrupted earlier. And people note that this time round, Taylor Swift was wearing red. Conspiracy theorists have jumped to the conclusion that this was a sign that she has now joined the dark side. And to me, I kind of see where people are coming from. I mean, it was speculated that this whole interaction was staged, at the very least just to get views for the VMAs. I mean, how did Kanye West get up on stage, and why did no one stop him? But at the end of the day, I also wouldn't put it past Kanye just to go completely rogue. He's done it many times before, and at the end of the day, Kanye just gone do Kanye. Taylor and Kanye have had a turbulent relationship, to say the least, over the years. But for a hot minute, it did look like the pair had made up. Kanye even apologised on Twitter for the infamous moment. Taylor even had a good sense of humour about it, joking about the incident when she was presenting Kanye with the Video Vanguard Award at the 2015 VMAs. However, with that said, the pair definitely don't seem to be on good terms anymore. There was the whole incident with Kanye West's music video for the song Famous, where he used a lookalike of Taylor to pose naked in his music video, and then he also used some very disrespectful lyrics to Taylor. And Kanye and his then wife Kim Kardashian claimed that Taylor Swift had given him permission to use that lyric, but Taylor Swift and her fans claim that she didn't. And yeah, let's just say the pair definitely don't seem to be getting along anymore. And I'm just having a bit of fun here, but I just kind of want to take this theory further and stir the pot a little bit. Let's put it this way, if Taylor Swift and Kanye are both in the Illuminati, then maybe Taylor Swift has now overtaken Kanye and even pushed him out of the Illuminati. I mean, let's face it, she's one of the biggest names in the world at the minute, and being on her bad side is not going to go good for you. Is it possible that Kanye did not do enough to make it up to Taylor, and now that she's at a high status, Kanye has been pushed out of the Illuminati, his personal life has been ruined, his marriage with Kim is over, and and he's just seen as the ultimate laughingstock. Is this Taylor Swift's ultimate revenge? Obviously, I'm just having a bit of fun here, but let me know if you think there's any truth in celebrities being in the Illuminati. If you've been living under a rock and you've missed the news that Taylor Swift is currently on tour with her Eras tour, I just want to say I have never seen a hype around a concert like this in my 26 years of existence. I've even seen someone try and sell their contact lenses that have seen the Eras tour for $10,000. And on top of that, she's shutting down cities that she's performing in by having fans not only fill out an entire stadium, but go and listen to the songs that she's performing outside the stadium. In fact, the hype around her at the minute is so big that people think this is not down to just performance alone. And people are saying that she's casting spells on her audience in live performances, such as in her song Willow. People also think that she's using some sort of dark magic during her live performances because people are reporting a phenomenon which they have now dubbed Taylor amnesia. So this has happened a couple of times where fans have reported to have spent thousands of pounds on her concert tickets. Yet when it comes down to it, they don't remember even seeing the show.
That's what happened to 32-year-old Nicole Booz, who saw Taylor earlier this month in Philadelphia. You spent almost $1,000 on a ticket, right? And you can't remember anything?
It felt like so surreal. Afterwards, as we were leaving, I was like, did she play this song? I don't remember this song. I don't remember her doing that.
Believers of the idea that some celebrities are part of the Illuminati also believe that performers use human sacrifices as part of satanic rituals at their concerts. And we've seen this theory dot around the internet before, where some fans of Travis Scott tragically lost their lives during the Astroworld set. The idea that Taylor Swift also allegedly used human sacrifice came following one of her performances in Brazil. The temperatures at her concert in Brazil were so high that tragically a young fan just aged 23 ended up passing out because of heat exhaustion and was later declared dead at a local hospital. Obviously this is just a tragic accident as well, but credit where credit's due to Taylor because she stopped the performance multiple times to make sure that her fans had water, but it does make you think this is something that could have been avoided in the first place. To me, this does seem just like a tragic accident, and I feel bad for Taylor. I mean, imagine living with the guilt of that. She obviously does seem very, very, very heartbroken about the news. She's put out a statement, and she also dedicated a song specially to the fan that lost their life in a later show. So if you didn't know, Taylor Swift was born and raised Christian, and she also made many references to Christianity in her songs throughout the years. I mean, one that springs to mind to me personally is in the song Our Song, when she's like, before I got home, when I said amen. God, I hope that doesn't get copyright striked. I mean, I sounded nearly identical to Taylor there. Jokes, obviously jokes. So yeah, Taylor was raised Christian, which if you didn't know is literally the polar opposite of Satanism. And Taylor has a huge Christian fan base, but in recent years, many have found themselves turning away because they get the sense that they're idolising a false idol, and also they are put off by the sheer amount of satanic symbolism in her songs and music and videos. And that's on top of the cult-like behaviour of her fans. I mean, I have seen the videos, I've seen people go to watch her live performances and even her movie, and like, I'm not gonna lie, people do be acting like they're part of a cult. And that's not to mention if you dare speak against Taylor Swift, oh my gosh, you will feel the wrath of her loyal fans coming to get you. But is this all down to Satanism or witchcraft? I mean, in my opinion, probably not. I mean, going back to the amnesia thing, this is not the only concert people have reported feeling amnesia for. It's actually quite a common phenomenon which has been studied by scientists. A really good explanation comes from the likes of Joel Stoddard, who is an associate professor at the University of Colorado Department of Psychiatry. He explains that when fans are in a state of excitement, the brain doesn't allow them to record memories as they're happening there in the moment. And this is down to sensory overload, and essentially the short-term memory doesn't get transformed into long-term memory in the brain, which is why fans might not remember parts of the concert even when it's just happened. And is she using witchcraft, or are people just impressed by her hard work? I mean, rumour has it that Taylor practiced for her concert by running 3 hours a day on a treadmill whilst belting out a song. My brain can't comprehend how any human, any sheer mortal can be fit enough to do what Taylor Swift does every single night. I mean, fair play, like I would generally pass out doing that. I'd pass out probably just being sat watching the concert. Listen, with all the supposed satanic symbolism that comes with Taylor Swift's music, I can kind of see where people are coming from saying that she might be a Satanist. I mean, at the end of the day, if something looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's pretty safe to say it's a bloody duck. But for me personally, all the hype and cult-like following that Taylor Swift has acquired over the years boils down to a much simpler explanation: PR and marketing. In my opinion, Taylor has truly mastered the art of the parasocial relationship. Unlike the glory days of Hollywood, where people would look up to their favourite celebrities and movie stars, for example, and only be able to dream about what it would be like to have an interaction with them, social media has brought us to a completely new age where people can actually interact with their favourite celebrities. And Taylor Swift, who is known to be an avid Tumblr user back in the day, she's really hyperactive on social media, she has truly mastered the art of the parasocial relationship. Studies have been done by psychologists such as Alice Marwick, who wrote a book called Status Update, and she explains that parasocial relationships are really strengthened when celebrities interact with a few really avid fans, and it makes this possibility that you can talk to your favourite celebrity. And it really strengthens the idea that if you are a big enough fan, your favourite celebrity will one day notice you. And that the more parasocial interactions are there amongst fans, the stronger the strength and the loyalty and the dedication becomes to the celebrity. Like I said earlier, I think she's really mastered the art of the parasocial relationship. I mean, to my knowledge, she's the only celebrity out there who invites 100 of her most dedicated fans to come to her own home and have a launch party for a new album where they're the very first to listen to this exclusive piece of art. So yeah, I think there is a rational explanation to the cult-like following of Taylor Swift, and again, I don't think it necessarily comes down to anything evil or supernatural. I think her and her team just have a pretty good idea now of how they can attract the most loyal fan base for decades. But of course, as always, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I said at the start, I have recently rabbit holed down a lot of Taylor Swift conspiracy theories. So if you did like this video, do make sure to let me know by leaving a thumbs up so I can make part 2. And if you do have any theories of your own, do make sure to not be shy and leave them in the comments below. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day wherever in the world you're watching from, and I hope to see you on the next conspiracy.